welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Rachel and I'm an owner and craft educator here at Oak and Lamb. This video is all about vinyl, how to weed it if you're weeding it properly. There's a lot of confusion surrounding weeding regular adhesive vinyl, and today I want to break that down and make sure that you guys are getting good, successful projects out of your adhesive vinyl. Because me, as a Cricut beginner, I was having a lot of project fails when working with a material like this because I wasn't weeding it properly. If you don't weed it properly, you don't know the warning signs of a project fail to come, you guys will just keep wasting time and money, and I want to make sure that you don't do that. We have a ton of training on how to use HTV or heat transfer vinyl, which is also called iron-on, so check that video out if you would like to learn how to use that. We also have a video about how to use regular adhesive vinyl. This video is just about weeding. I'm not going to go into the process of applying transfer tape, transferring it over, anything like that. This is just tips to make sure you guys are weeding vinyl the correct way. There's a lot of frustration surrounding weeding adhesive vinyl, and honestly, I don't use the word hate a lot. I hated using adhesive vinyl for many, many years because I was getting a lot of project fails with it and I didn't know how to weed it properly. So I'm hoping to really make sure that you guys are confident today when using your adhesive vinyl in the future. The first thing I want to mention is make sure you have a good brand of vinyl. This might seem like a no-brainer, but it really does make a ton of difference whenever you are creating projects. The brand that we love the most is StarCraft HD adhesive vinyl. It's fantastic. The price is exceptional. The color options are amazing. I will link it down below in the description if you would like to purchase some. Our least favorite vinyl brand on the market is Cricut brand. Now, that being said, clearly we love the Cricut machines. We love the Cricut True Control knives. There's a lot of different things from Cricut that we enjoy and we use every single day. The material is not one of them. We feel like it, number one, it's so costly. It's very, very expensive. Also, the quality is not amazing. It doesn't weed well. It cuts okay, but weeding it is hard, transferring it is hard. We don't love it at all. So if you're using Cricut brand vinyl, that's your first step. If you're using a cheap brand off of Amazon, that's your first step. Know that you need to get a better quality brand of vinyl. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be more expensive, because this StarCraft brand is way less expensive than Cricut brand, but the quality is so much better. So definitely make sure you have a good quality vinyl to start with. That's going to make all the difference in your vinyl projects right off the bat, along with the really great tips and tricks I'll be sharing with you today. A couple more staple items that you want to be using when working with regular vinyl is, of course, transfer tape. With HTV, if you are brand new, you won't know this, but if you are not brand new, you will know that heat transfer vinyl comes with built-in transfer tape. That is why you have to mirror your image in design space, where adhesive vinyl needs a separate transfer. So we have clear transfer tape here that has a grid on it, and we also have masking paper transfer tape. Now, we use both of these very often. Masking paper transfer tape is an exceptional transfer tape for small projects, for projects that you're going to be able to make quickly, for projects that you don't want a lot of tack on, because it is a little bit less tacky of a transfer tape. This clear transfer tape is good for the majority of all projects. It's clear, you can see through it. It has plenty of tack on it, but again, sometimes that higher tack might not be what you want for certain projects. So it's great to have both of these. I will link them both down below. They're very reasonably priced as well, so you can check those out. Next is rubbing alcohol. I don't talk about this enough with my vinyl projects. And again, we're not going to be applying this to a transfer today. We're mostly talking about weeding tips, but this is going to be a helpful tip if you guys seem to have project fails with your vinyl. Make sure whatever you're placing your vinyl on has been cleaned with rubbing alcohol. You want all the dust, dirt, oil from your fingers, anything like that off of your project. So make sure you clean your project really well. Give your vinyl a really good, slick, clean surface to be able to be applied to. It is adhesive, so it is a sticky back. If you put a sticky back on your shirt and then put it somewhere, it's not going to stick as well. Same thing as your vinyl. It only has so much stick on it. You want whatever surface you apply it to be able to have really good adhesion, so you want it to be nice and clean. So we always use rubbing alcohol. We love brayers. Brayers are exceptional to roll your vinyl on your mat and make sure it's down good. Once you place your vinyl on your mat like we did here, we took our Cricut True Control knife, cut it off, and used a brayer to roll over this and bray it down. You can also use a scraper tool or a squeegee. We have them both here and use them both often, but we have found that a brayer does a better job. If you're using matte vinyl, it doesn't scratch it or anything like that. So we love to use a brayer. And again, these are all little things that will help your project succeed during the cutting process as well. You want to make sure that your material is well adhered onto your mat. If it's not and it's kind of up a little off your mat and not stuck down very well, your Cricut fine point blade is going to cut it and it's not going to be down where it needs to be, so it could drag and not cut your project properly. So you want to make sure you're using a mat that is good and sticky enough for your project. You want to make sure you're braying it down well. And yeah, next is a weeder tool. We love this one from Amazon. We've used the Cricut weeder tools for years and we keep bending the tips because they're not made very well. So these are our favorite weeder tools. Now, if you guys use other types of weeder tools, that's fine. However you want to weed this, you can. We're trying to give you some tips in this video on how to successfully do it. So really whatever weeder tool you are most confident and comfortable using. If you like the pin tool, if you like the other odd looking weeder tool, that's fine. We prefer the hook weeder tool. That's pretty much all we use for when we're weeding regular adhesive vinyl. Now that we went through all of that, I'm just going to share with you in Design Space the cut file that we're using today. The reason I chose this one is because it's going to be a little more difficult for our machine to cut, and I like that. It has a lot of curves and curly cues because the word is scripted. So that's going to be a great test on how this cuts. So let's go ahead and jump on over into Design Space. Okay, here is the cut file we're using today. Words are hard. If you know us here at Oak and Lamb, you know that we use this phrase a lot. When we're doing live videos or we're trying to explain something and we just cannot think of the word we're trying to come out of our mouths, we love to say this: words are hard. And this is a beautiful hand lettered cut file that is exclusive to Oak and Lamb. If you would like to join Oak and Lamb and see all of the cut files and perks we have in our membership, including free commercial licensing, click the very first link down below. We would love to welcome you as a part of our vlog. Now, we're going to be cutting this at 6 inches. Again, I'm not going over any of the logistics of this. This is a video about weeding vinyl properly. If you want to know how to use adhesive vinyl properly, the entire process, how to lay your vinyl on the mat properly, what setting to use in Design Space, all that good stuff, a really clear, slow outline, perfect for beginners. Definitely check that video out. But we're just going to go through the motions today. I wanted to share with you the cut file we're using because it's so darn cute. Don't forget to take that brayer and bray your material down, especially if your mat is a little well loved, as we like to say, and it's been used quite a bit. You really want your material to stick down well onto your mat. So make sure it's stuck down well, and we'll go ahead and cut this out and get to weeding. Okay, now that we have our vinyl cut out, here are the tools that you will need for this process. You're going to need your brayer once more, your weeder tool, and your Cricut True Control knife or something like that. Now, as you can see, this was a scrap piece of vinyl, so it's a little bit unevenly cut, and that's totally fine. Also, I'm going to try and get it in the light here. You can see where our words are cut, and you can see in person a lot better, of course, too. So what we're going to do first is trim away the excess vinyl from this project. We want to be able to save this. So I can see I need to make a cut right here and right here. And again, I know it's hard to tell on camera. I promise it's very easy to do in person. You can see right where your Cricut has cut. So I'm going to take this, and a lot of people say, Rachel, you're cutting your mat, you're cutting on your mat. What are you doing? I know that that's hurting your mat. Guys, we have done this for 6-7 years. It has not hurt our mat. Once you use this True Control knife once or twice, you know the pressure to use. You know how much pressure to use to not hurt your mat at all. So I'm going to take this and cut. Go slow, guys. There is no special prize that you get for doing this fast other than the possibility of ruining your project. So just look at those lines where you've cut, go really slow and cut around it, trying to save as much vinyl as possible. Now what you're going to want to do is flip your entire mat over. You want to flip your mat over so that you are not curling your material at all. You will mess up the adhesive from the backing if you do that. So I'm going to turn our mat over, and again, our project is over here. So we're going to peel it from this side. You're going to flip your mat over and peel up the excess vinyl just like that. Now you have a good flat piece of vinyl that's perfect for other projects. So you can put that away in your scrap bin. Now at this step in the process, you might be thinking, okay, let me grab my weeder tool and go ahead and weed. Well, let me tell you what happened. Whenever you had the Cricut cut this out, the fine point blade agitated all of this vinyl. It pulled it up and it's not well adhered to the backing. Why it's not adhered to the backing, again, is because it cut. When it cuts around those words, it kind of pulls the vinyl up a little bit. We want to make sure that the vinyl is well adhered to the backing because we're going with gravity here. Once we take our weeder tool and we start peeling the negative vinyl away from our project, if our vinyl is not well stuck down, it's just going to come up with us. We're not going to be able to have success weeding this. So we're going to take our brayer and bray this down again. You cannot over burnish the project. So we're just going to press this down several times. And the reason why I like a brayer for this other than a scraper tool or a squeegee is because just in case the inside of any of these letters is peeled up a little bit, if we had a scraper tool like this one right here and we went to scrape this down, we could pull that up and ruin our project. I like that the brayer rolls over it and doesn't scrape over it. So I do enjoy using that brayer. Now you also might be thinking, Rachel, it's on the mat. You're weeding on the mat. Why are you doing that? Weeding on the mat is one of the most important things you can do as a Cricut beginner, even an advanced Cricketer, because it's like a third hand. This is your third hand. You don't have to worry about holding this down, about taping it somewhere. You don't have to worry about anything like that. It's on the mat, it's stuck down, it's going to be much easier to weed. Now if you're worried about putting your hands on the mat and you're like, I don't want to ruin my mat, number one, you can always clean your mats. We have a fantastic video on ways to clean your mats. It's actually our favorite way. It's using baby wipes. Go check the video out. It's very satisfying to watch and super, super easy to do. But if you're very concerned about taking the tack off of your mat, you can flip this around and weed it this way. That way when you have your weeding tool and you're weeding it up, you're not on your mat. Now the only reason I don't recommend that for beginners is because one of the tips to help you make sure you're weeding successfully is to read your vinyl as you go. So you want to make sure you're reading each word so that you're not missing a letter. That's going to help you guys make sure that you haven't pulled anything up you didn't mean to pull up. So I'm going to hover my hand above my mat here and pick the very corner. Some people like to start in the center. I'm a corner. I like to start in the corner and take the bulk away from my project and then work in the inner pieces. I think it's much more practical that way. So with pressure like this too, you don't want to go all the way through because then you'll peel both of them up. If you just push through a little bit, you'll peel the vinyl up and leave the backing, which is what we want. So now you're going to take this, and I usually will grab it with my fingers at this point and peel this up very slowly. Peel it up slow. And as you can see, it's like we're getting stuck about right here. I'll take my weeding tool and pull up that center just to kind of help us along here. Now again, I'm getting stuck right here. I'll just take this, curl it on in there, and help that piece pop right up. And now, one more time, help that. And now, at this point, we're about the halfway mark, and it's a little bit daunting. Do not let yourself get overwhelmed with this much vinyl. Look at all this extra vinyl here. So what you're going to want to do is grab a pair of scissors, cut this vinyl off. Cut it off. That way you're not worried about it. Now, all of this is off. Lay it to the side. And the reason why I didn't crumple it up and throw it away is just in case I missed something, we know where it's at. So here, H-A-R-D, I can read that properly. If you take this out, you guys can read it better too. And now I know that part is weeded properly. Now, start right where you left off, pulling this up. The slower you go, the better your outcome will be. The better you can see if you're missing anything. Perfect. Now again, I'm going to lay this to the side. And now there are some inner pieces here. I'm going to take this, peel that up. Now let's read everything. Words are hard. Once you finally know you have everything, amazing. Now you can go in here, and I do it word by word, letter by letter, line by line. You can remove the insides of these. Now, the process in which you weed, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. With a hook weeder tool like this, you can weed away from you, or you can weed towards you. I weed towards myself. That's the way that I prefer to weed. Weed however you want, as long as you can get the job done properly. But it's really, really simple. So with tiny areas like this, I push down a little bit harder. That way it kind of just pokes right up for me. This little area on this R comes up really simple when you do that. And again, the more that you weed, the more you will notice patterns and the more you will find little tricks to help you weed faster and better each and every time. Now that you have all of this weeded, you know you haven't missed anything, you can throw all of this away finally. And that's it for weeding. It was that easy. There's a lot of great tips and tricks in this video. I hope you all did learn a lot. There is so much frustration surrounding weeding adhesive vinyl. One of the biggest tips, I would say the most important tip to take away from the video, is to make sure before you weed, you roll over and you braid down and you push that vinyl down to the backing. That is going to help more than anything. Now there's also some steps you can take. If you happen to have a fail, make sure that your fine point blade doesn't have anything on it. As you can see here, ours does. It has a little bit of fuzz on it that could stop it from cutting properly. Make sure that you clean your fine point blade. All I do is push that little button like that and use my fingers to easily drag off anything that's on there. The old tinfoil ball trick, it doesn't sharpen your blade, it just cleans it. Feel free to do that if you want to. Make sure that your blade is all the way down in your housing of your clamp B. That is another mistake that people can make. Also, make sure that you're using the proper material setting for the vinyl that you have. Even if it's not Cricut brand, you can find a really great material setting in your design space. So make sure that you do everything properly. Once you get to the weeding process, if you take the tips that we've used in this video, you should have a world of success, and we are so excited to be able to help you on your journey. I hope that you really enjoyed this video. Take it from me, I used to hate weeding adhesive vinyl, and now I really do enjoy the process. I hope you did learn a lot in the video, and again, check out Oak and Lamb for amazing cut files like this cute one we've used today. If you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment down below, click subscribe, and ring that notification bell to get notified when more amazing videos like this come out. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you another day for another video.